Get this camera situated. This is my first live. Let's see, how do we make this smaller? Do that. I'm gonna set you down for a second, okay? It's my first time trying this out, so let's see if we can figure it out. Oh, there we go. Just twisting this holder on here. Welcome, welcome. So friends, some of you may know that I had put up on another YouTube video that I was going to start a group and that we could all sew together, kind of like a membership thing. Now, see, the problem is going to be if there's any comments. I guess I can just stand up and check every once in a while. And I don't know what would happen if I turned this the other way. Does it still work? Rotate device. I don't know, it won't let it maybe. Okay, so we'll just do it that way. And so anyways, nobody signed up, which is totally fine because it's just my first time trying it. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'm just not going to do anything. And then I remembered that Lizzie had gone live the other day, and it was so fun, even if, let's see how this works, even if we couldn't all talk to each other, it was fun to do, like, comments. Which I guess I should make sure, like, is comments turned on? But nobody's here, so I don't think it really matters too much. It says, welcome to the chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Yeah, so I think the chat is on. So anyways, I thought, well, who cares? Even if nobody's here, let's just practice doing it. And I would have been on Zoom if it was with the like group the way I was thinking of doing it. But I thought, well, you know what? I'll just do the YouTube live, and I can still slow stitch with you. And if you watch this later, then that's totally fine. And if no one watches it at all, that's totally fine too. I learned something really fascinating today. There's this thing called human design, and it's based off of astrology and Kabbalah and the I Ching and I think it's those four. Maybe there was Vedic philosophy, which I think has origins in India. Anyways, I was learning about it, and it's basically, it tells you about your personality, similar to astrology. So you put in like your date of birth and your place of birth, and they have, you know, you can take a little, you can fill it out online and get your human design chart. I think you can just put in, I just put into Google human design, and it is so fascinating. So it tells you your, oh, does that say one person is here? Oh, maybe they're not. It did say one for a second. Hi, whoever came. Oh, hello. Who is that, I wonder? It doesn't show me who you are. So if you want to say hi in the chat, I'd love to say hello. So I'm just talking about that I was looking at this thing called human design, and it's so interesting because I put in all my information, my date of birth and my place of birth and everything, and it says I'm something called a generator, and I looked up what a generator means, and it means someone who, oh, the person popped out. The generator is a person who cannot just like do things, like they can't just start a business and just carry it through unless they really feel like it. And so they have to respond. I don't really totally understand it yet, but they were saying so much about how responding is so important for generators rather than like going out. So they said anytime you're saying like I'm going to, it means you're possibly going to be out of alignment for a generator. So I thought, gosh, for years I have been trying to drum up some sort of way for me to do something that is not speech pathology, because it just that's what my training is in, and that's what I do my work for money in right now. And it's been about 13 years, and it's just never quite felt me. And so I've tried all these different things, all these different ways to try to do something that would feel more aligned. And I've done so much of that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this training, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this and then do this. And it's so much like putting it out there energy. And they were saying that the generators really should just do things when they feel fun. Just do it because it feels fun. Don't do it because you think you should be doing something. And that the generators are supposed to be able to say, I don't know a lot, and just wait until it becomes clear. And I thought that was so interesting because I've taken all these courses and read all these books about like finding your passion and doing your mission. And, and I'm always like, yeah, I want to do it. I just don't know what it is. And I've gotten so much feedback like, well, if you don't know, then the whole thing's worthless. You got to know what you need to do. And I've been like, but I don't. How am I supposed to know? And I think this is really cool that this maybe is saying like I'm an I don't know person, and that it's okay for me to say I don't know. And point being, it says you should just do things because they feel fun. And obviously you have to do things, we all have to do things that don't feel fun. But if you're, after you get done with the things you have to do, you can charge your battery by doing things that are fun. So I feel like even if, oh, now somebody's back. Now, how would I see if there was a chat? Let me see. Enable, mute microphone. I don't want that. Oh, that didn't want that. Come see the chat. Well, oh, here is a button of a chat. Doesn't do anything when I click on it. Live chat. All messages are visible. Moderator helps everyone. Okay, so it just looks like there's no chat. So whoever you are, welcome. And if you want to say hello, great. I'm going to just see what this rest of this says because the little camera holder is blocking it off. Okay, sorry for my funniness here. Okay. So anyways, no matter if nobody ever comes to do these things or if nothing happens with all this, I think it is fun. And so for that reason, I will do it. So look, I was just stitching this up, but it looks like I didn't pull it all the way through here, probably because I've been so distracted with this phone. So what I'm going to do, instead of try to take it all out, because slow stitching for me is just about not having it be perfect, I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see that, there's like a little flap of thread there. I'm just gonna flatten it out and go back over it and sew it down. I am using slow stitching to help bring back my sense of creativity and without that pressure of perfectionism that I acquired over the course of my life. So these mistakes are really good opportunities for me to really be clear about that. I don't have to take out anything. I don't have to redo anything. I don't have to be discouraged. Because it's not about finishing either. It's not like, oh, that's a waste of time now. Because it's not about finishing anything. It's just about stitching for stitching's sake. And you can think of any of your little slow stitching projects as like a journal, or just like how, kids just make endless little things out of, my kid used to make just endless things out of cardboard scraps and toilet paper rolls, just for fun, just for the sake of making. Oh, look, there's 2 people now. Now I wish I could see. Oh, there is. My name is Karen. Let's see. Now I see a little something. Okay, sorry for my hand. Let me see what this says so I can respond to you all. Hello, my name is Karen. Sorry I missed the start. I'm a newbie to slow stitching, but I love it. Hi, Karen. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So, if you know how to do just a straight stitch with a needle and thread, then you're a professional slow stitcher. Because that is the whole point of slow stitching, is just to not have it be about doing anything well or doing anything right, but just letting your relationship with the needle and the thread and the fabric be a time for you to just enjoy and, be creative and think about whatever you want to think about without having that pressure of doing a project that's like finished or right or understanding a method or anything like that. So I'm so glad you're here. And what I'm doing right now is I sort of tend to, a lot of slow stitchers make just like a little square of something, and they stitch, all across the 1 or 2 squares of fabric, sort of like a collage. I tend to like to make a little something because, I don't know, that sounds fun to me. So right now I'm just making a little bag here. It has a zipper at the top that I sewed in, and I just cut up a old handkerchief that I got from this amazing store that sells donated fabrics. And I'm just stitching it on the edges here. I think another piece of slow stitching that is really fun is using upcycled fabrics or things that are just laying around your house, so that it's really sustainable. You don't have to, of course, but that can be a really nice part of it. And I see a lot of slow stitchers like go all out with, using natural dyes on their fabrics. And oh, it looks like there's somebody else here. If you want to say hi, we'd love to say hi to you. Tell us your name. My name's Gazit Chaya, and Karen is here with us. And I had put up, when I put up the workshop that I made, Slow Stitching Through Grief, I had put up an option to do like a slow stitch together on Zoom, which I would think would be so fun to, meet some actual people and hear other people's thoughts about slow stitching and share our projects with each other. So that is still up on my Gumroad shop to join like a membership. I think I made it just sliding scale, but you can pay, $5 a month, and then I'll do a new workshop every month that you can watch asynchronous whenever it works for you. And then my hope was to do 2 Zooms every other Sunday afternoon. So I was getting ready to do it today and realized nobody signed up. And then I thought, I was a little sad. And then I thought, you know what? I'll just, I saw Lizzie, some of you may know Lizzie, do a live the other day, and it was so fun. And I thought, well, I'll just do that. And then I can still get my time to slow stitch with whoever comes, and then maybe another time we'll do a Zoom. And I think I'll just leave it up there, and at some point maybe someone will want to join, and that would be so fun. My grandma, who died in her mid 90s, she loved doing little projects, and I thought it was really awesome because she was never like super fancy at any of it. She wasn't like a skilled dressmaker or quilt maker. she made funky little random crafts that were like not very fancy, and she just loved it. And eventually she ended up joining this group of quilters who made very basic quilts. You know, like they just put the squares together and then put the yarn through. You know, have you seen that done? And they gave them to the local shelter. And they got to sit there together and chit chat. And I've always wanted that. So maybe someday some of you would like to join me on Zoom and we can chit chat as we sew and get to know each other. Let's see. I wish there was like a little bell. I'm glad to be here with you. Aw, is that Karen again? Yeah, I think so. I'm so glad you're here, Karen. I just think that would be so fun to have a group of people who get together and just sew and chit chat. And I certainly just am coming from a friend's graduation party, which was lovely, but it was, you know, it's always a little tricky to chit chat with people that you don't really know. And I think when you're sewing or doing a project, it's a lot easier. So, yeah. But I think my grandma was such a good example of how to just find little positive ways to spend your time, and if it can contribute to someone else, so much. So nice. And you know, since I started sewing again, I've given people gifts that I've sewn, even if they're just sort of funky and not anything super fancy. And this friend that I was just at her graduation party, I painted her a little painting with a little quote. And it's not super amazing, you know, but it's just nice. And all of us have too much junk and none of us need to be spending more money. So I thought it was fun. And I am, oh, my phone just beeped. Let's see if that means someone wrote another little comment. I want to make sure I'm not sewing this to the other side. So yeah, this middle part was a little stained piece of a handkerchief that I got at that used place. And so I cut it out and then put that little middle piece specifically with the stain. I should probably put my phone like on do not disturb or something. Can I do that? Yeah, there we go. Sorry for the bumpies. Okay. So a lot of slow stitchers I've seen, and if you're curious about seeing what people do with slow stitching, Instagram is a great place to be. There's so many slow stitchers on there. And what you can do is you can just go to the search on Instagram. I'm not very good at Instagram, but if you go to the search and then you put the number sign, which is like hashtag, and then slow stitching, people will have done that so that you can find them. Okay, now what do I want to do next? I think there was this cute little, this. You see this? Isn't that sweet? This is another little scrap of something that my friend who's a dressmaker, she gives me things that are left over from her shop. I'm just going to stitch that guy right on. So that's, I think, handmade lace. Someone had brought her a whole box of their grandma, I think's hand crocheted things. Oh, I'm so bad at knowing where the camera is, but oh, now it's all blurry. Can you see that? That's all hand done. I have no idea how they did that. It's so beautiful. So I'm just going to sew that right on here. So it's just like collaging, you know, just stick stuff on, use bigger embroidery thread. Like this is embroidery thread. That'll show up more if you want something to be more visible. Use just regular thread if you want something to be less visible. And people, you know, some people you'll see do do know elaborate embroidery stitches, and that's fine for them. For me, I don't want to be concentrating very hard. I want to be just using this as a positive, creative outlet without having the stress of, like, if I were actually trying to do a specific project, I'd be worried about following the pattern or paying attention. And with this, I have, if you're doing a specific project, you need to like go get all the materials. With this, what I did is I went to Swanson's, which is that place that has all these donated bits and pieces, and I just got a bunch of what they call hot trash. It's just a bunch of random stuff for so cheap, and I wouldn't have to feel bad if if all of it turned out bad, because it would have gone in a dumpster anyways. And so there you go. I just sewed that down in the middle. I like it floppy, so I'm going to leave it like that. And so now I just have a little plastic bin full of all these random things, and I can just grab one or two of them and do whatever comes to my mind. And I don't have to feel like it has to be a masterpiece or it has to ever be finished. And my dress shop friend was the one who gave me this little zipper. So I thought, oh, I can make a little bag. You know what I think I'll do next is I'm going to sew up that side. But maybe I'll wait. I think I might do one more cutesy thing here. I love blue and white together. So I was having that idea. What's this say? Something went wrong. Tap to retry. Are we still? Oh yeah, we're still good. See, the reason why Zoom would be fun. Oh, somebody else came. Hello. Welcome, whoever you are. If you want to say hi in the chat, I'd love to say hi and know your name. Karen's here. Somebody else is here. And me, my name's Gazit Chaya. Here's a piece of lace. My dressmaker friend also has given me all this, like, endless lace. I think I'm going to sew that on somewhere. But I think I'll use some embroidery thread for that. Does anyone else find embroidery thread just to be so tricky? I never can unwrap it in a way that actually works. It always becomes a super crazy knot situation. Look, there's a bit. Anyways, what I was saying about the Zoom idea is, while, I can jabber on about endless things, it'd be kind of nice to hear other people's thoughts and talk to you and see your projects. So I hope that eventually we'll be able to do a Zoom together. There's a little knot in that guy. Not sure what I'm going to do about that. I kind of want to, I know what I'll do. I'll make it double thickness and then it'll come through a little brighter. So this is a piece of embroidery thread. And, you know what I just noticed? Look at that guy. I'm going to use that instead. Look, it's a butterfly. Oh my gosh. That's spectacular. Wow. Hold on, let me really make that so you can see that. Can you imagine somebody made that? Look, that's like one thread at a time. Oh my word. How did they do that? That is amazing. All right, this butterfly is going on. But should I use blue with this butterfly, or is that going to be too... It's so delicate. I'm not sure if I want to use blue. I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to use the cream. See, this is why I love this. It's because I don't have to know. And I can just jump from thing to thing. And this part of my brain, oh, somebody else came. Welcome. Hi, friend. If you want to get out some sewing and sew with us, do some slow stitching. If you want to just hang out, totally welcome. If you want to put your name in the chat, I'd love to say hello. My name's Gazit Chaya. Now, so what I was saying is I love this because I don't have to know what I'm doing and I don't have to pay attention, but also, and I can switch my mind 100 times, but also this part of my brain that's going, oh, maybe I'll do this. Oh, maybe I'll do this. That part of my brain is my right brain, which is my creative side of my brain. And that part does not have, so there's a part of your brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is kind of like the doorway between your front brain and your back brain. So your front brain is where they have the executive functioning, which is where we make decisions. And now, would I be able to see more comments? All I can see is 2 comments. Is that all there is? I'm hoping so. So your executive functioning is where you can make decisions, you can solve problems. It's our more evolved part of our brain. And then the lizard brain is the back part of our brain. And that's like, fight or flight and some of those less evolved functions. And then the amygdala is like the doorway between the two. And so when you're in fight or flight, your amygdala is kind of closed. Now, I am not a neuroscientist, so please, if I'm wrong, forgive me. But it's something like this. So when your amygdala is closed, you can't get up to your executive functioning. And so you can stay in that fight or flight, panicky, everything's wrong, I can't figure out anything, what's going to happen, just feeling chaotic and scared. And then to get up to your executive functioning, you need your amygdala to open. And the way to open that amygdala is for your body to believe that you're safe. So creativity, like this kind of thing where you're like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to attach this? What do I want to attach? Where do I want to put it? Those creative, exploratory, like imagine something and then make it a reality processes are in the right brain, and they open up that amygdala and allow us to go out of the fight or flight, which I don't know about you, but I am so eager to spend less time in that fight or flight and more time feeling peaceful. And, other ways are like meditation and doing breathing exercises and things like that, which are beautiful, but those are not easily accessible to everyone. I've talked to a lot of people who feel too anxious to do meditation and who feel too anxious even to do breath work, which really you can do. I'll tell you my favorite little magic trick is the 4-7-8 breathing, which you can look up. There's a great YouTube about it, but it's just breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 7 seconds, and then breathing out for 8 seconds. But even that, sitting quietly can be scary for a lot of people. And so I was ecstatic when I found out that any kind of creativity does the same thing. It brings us into that same place that meditation does and allows us to come back out of the fight or flight and feel calm. And it also can make you feel more competent, which makes you feel more confident. So it, when you sew something in a straight line and you go, oh wow, I just attached that, your little system feels like you did something. And I think in our world, so many of the arts, we've sort of been taught to be afraid of them. Like you have to be good at something in order to say you're an artist. And people also, I think it can be a hindrance that a lot of art supplies are really expensive. So I was super duper happy when I found out that slow stitching is like a whole thing that is so good for that, because if you have, um, the dexterity, the ability to use a needle and thread to hold it and put it in and out, then you can access this, and you can use all things that are just, junk. You don't have to, you can use an old rag, and a needle and thread is about $2 or $3, so you can get it cheaply, and you don't have to know anything, and you don't have to take classes, and you don't have to do anything fancy, just in and out, and the reason why I can chit chat this whole time is because I'm not trying to make this look any certain way. I'm just going in and out. And I think it's a great bridge for people who might not be able to access some of that other stuff, to give them an opportunity to spend some time quietly stitching and relax that fight or flight. And at some point, if we are able to join together on Zoom to have some time with people, for a lot of people who still feel isolated after the pandemic, or just feel isolated because life can be isolating. I know I certainly can feel lonely a lot of the time. So I'm just so happy that I found this, and I'm so grateful for you all who are with us today, that we can be together in this and have some nice time to feel less alone and to do something that feels beautiful and calming. Oh, it looks like someone else joined us. Hi, welcome. I'm Gazit Chaya. It's so nice to meet you. If you want to put your name or say hi in the chat, I'd love to welcome you. Just sort of stitching on this beautiful piece of lace here and chatting about slow stitching. So glad you're here. I think it really is something to gather together with a goal that is peaceful and healing, and that doesn't have so much pressure like so many other things in life. So I'm just going around and putting this little butterfly on. My throat is a little bit tired from chatting for the past few minutes, so I think I'm going to take a little talking break, and I hope you stay. It's nice to be together even if we're not talking constantly. I think that's another nice thing about doing an activity with other people, is that the emphasis doesn't have to be on the talking. So you can just be quiet if you want to, and you're not so, forced to make the conversation be the whole thing. Isn't that amazing? That butterfly. So pretty. Oh, needle came out. You hear the little neighbor kids playing outside. I have the nicest little group of neighbor kids. My kiddo is 11 and is usually out there playing with them, but this weekend he's with his other mom, my ex. So this is a good time for me to do this with you, and thank you for helping me to pass this time in a pleasant way. I mentioned that Swanson's shop. If you want to check them out, I think it's called swansonsfabrics.com or something like that. If you just search Swansons, SWANSONS. They're located here in Massachusetts, but they have an online store. And they have wonderful things. And so cheap. I got just a giant bag full of fabrics and buttons and lace for like $20. And I haven't gone back since because I haven't needed to. It's been like 3 months and I haven't run out of stuff yet. Plus I have my dressmaker friend that gives me stuff, but the majority of it's been from Swanson's. All of this is from them except for these two little pieces. Oh, look, somebody else has joined. Hello, welcome. So glad you're here. Oh, I think there is another comment. Hold on, let me take a look. Oh, yeah. Awesome. I love going to thrift stores looking for old crochet pieces that I use or cut up to sew on things. Ooh, as you just did. That's a great idea. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I did, that's a good point. I did let myself have a little splurge at the thrift store the other day, and I had got this beautiful pattern book from someone on Etsy. It's all in Japanese, so it's going to be a little tricky, but it's very simple. It's like one piece of fabric, like you just fold it in half to make like shirts and skirts and dresses. So I'm hoping it's going to be fairly simple, but I was thinking, okay, what kind of fabric do I want to make my first thing out of? And then I thought, oh, I kind of want to make it patchwork, blue and white. So you can see I'm on a blue and white kick. I have blue willow china. It's just my favorite, blue and white. So I went to this thrift store and I ended up, of course, right? I ended up spending $80, which is way more than I would ever spend. But I decided, okay, this will be my only thing. This will be my whole summer of stuff. And I got all these different beautiful blue and white fabric shirts. And so I'm going to cut them up into squares and make them patchwork. But I love that idea of getting crocheted things and then sewing it on. So Karen, you're new to slow stitching. Do you do some of that like junk journal type stuff, or is it the slow stitching that you use the crochet pieces for? Because I think that junk journaling stuff is very similar, it feels like. And I love that word that they use in the junk journaling world. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like ephemera or something like that. And that's what they use, all the little stamps and old pictures. And I love how they tea dye paper. I haven't done that yet, but I want to try it. But yeah, all these little treasures at thrift stores are so fun. I will tell you, the thrift store is got awesome stuff too. I agree with you. It is much more expensive than Swanson's. So if you're interested, look them up because it is like dramatically less expensive. And they do ship. I know Lizzie just bought a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you know Lizzie, Karen, but Lizzie's so kind. And she just ordered some stuff from Swanson, so I'm excited to see what she gets and what she thinks of it. Did someone else just join? If you did, feel free. Hi, welcome. If you did, I can't quite tell. Introduce yourself in the chat if you want. Love to say hi. I think I'm going to stay on just maybe, it's been 40 minutes. So I think I'll stay on just about 10 minutes more. My little voice is getting tired, which is, yeah, I know I keep saying it, but I'd love to do Zoom with some folks because then other people can talk too and you don't have to just listen to me and my little throat doesn't get tired. I have been talking all day. I have a friend who has just been the kindest, kind of like a mom or like an aunt to me. So we had a check-in phone call this morning, which was so nice. And then I have a little mentee that I've been working with, or not working with, just meeting with. We just get together at a coffee shop and we actually talk about astrology because they're very interested in astrology, which has been so fun. I've learned a lot. So we did that, and then I had my friend's graduation party, and then this, which is like an extremely social day for me. Let's see. Nobody yet. Hello. So I am sure tomorrow I will not feel like doing much talking. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And you know you can make such pretty things without having to know any fancy skills. You know, I didn't make this or any of these X's. I do know how to make an X with 2 straight stitches, but so I guess I could do that, but I wouldn't probably be able to envision it. So that's what's so nice about slow stitching is you don't have to know anything. Just know how to put the needle in, push it out, and pull it through. And I really love to take a little bit of fabric and a little needle and thread and scissors to anything that I'm going to, like my kids' soccer games or birthday parties. Because if you're sewing, everybody has a little story about sewing. Either that they want to learn how to sew or that their grandma sewed, or you learn a lot about people and it'll make for interesting conversation. I met this woman last week who started an online store that sells all local things. And so I thought at some point maybe I do have little slow stitching kits on Etsy, and maybe at some point I'll have her list mine on there. I feel like I need to get myself a little bit more organized first, but that's a pretty cool idea, right? It's called like Shop Local, Do Good or something like that. Pretty neat idea. She wanted it to be like Amazon for local stuff. It'd be fun if she does well. Maybe it could expand to all sorts of areas, and you could just put in your mailing address or your address, and then you could see what's near you. Wouldn't that be neat? So many creative ideas in this world. All right, I am almost there with this little butterfly. So, my dear friends, I would love to see anything that you've been working on. So, I do have an Instagram. It's called So Calm Shop. If you want to go over there, and I don't exactly know how to do it, but I think you can like tag me in your post if you want to put a picture of what you worked on today or at any time. I'd love to see anything and learn from you too. And I think you can also just send me a message on there. I don't know, can you attach pictures to messages on Instagram? I think probably. I am not that savvy with any of this stuff yet. But I'd love to get to know you and see what you're working on and share. I will put, after this finishes, I will put everything in the link about the Slow Stitching Through Grief workshop. I'm getting ready to do my next second workshop, and I'm tossing around a few ideas. One idea is slow stitching through the seasons. So to do like a fall, winter, spring, summer. I think that's maybe what I'm going to do. So I'll share that when that comes up for June, and maybe we'll have some people who want to get together over Zoom in June. And in the meantime, I hope you take such sweet care of yourself, and remember that you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to do anything right, and that if you forget that you are loved and lovable, you just come over to Sew Calm Shop and I'll remind you. Okay, sending you lots of love. Thanks so much. Oh, wait, before I go, oh, good. Karen put another thing. Okay, I use for both. I coffee dye my index cards and paper. Ooh, have you heard of Sashiko? Yeah, I really want to do that. It's Japanese straight stitching. Yeah, Sashiko is amazing. I like your workshop ideas. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad you're here, Karen. Yeah, Sashiko is gorgeous. I adore it, especially you would imagine the blue and white. There's so much that they do that's indigo dyeing, blue and white, and I just think it's all beautiful and spectacular, and I love the patterns. I will tell you my hesitation about Sashiko, even though I did just order Sashiko needles, because there was someone who I was telling them my elbows are getting tired, and I think it might be having to do with the sewing, and they said that Sashiko needles are a little bit easier to get through. So I did just order some, but here's my two hesitations about Sashiko. One is it's so like perfect. It's like you have to use a ruler and draw lines and follow. And I'm sure there's a way to not have it be that specific, but that stresses me out. And I just don't want to have to do planning. Planning is something that really stresses me out too, which is why I love just the spontaneous nature of slow stitching. And then the other piece is that I have learned a lot that there's like, it's a very important cultural tradition and meant to be passed down from like Japanese practitioners. And a lot of the teachers out there are not traditional Japanese Sashiko artists. And so I've been a little cautious about that. But I do think it's gorgeous, and I would love to have some like Sashiko clothes. I think they're so pretty, especially the coats. There's someone, I think they're on Instagram, who sells like coats made out of, they're kind of like, what is that called? Not a kimono, but it's kind of like a robe. I don't know, maybe it is kimono. It's beautiful, beautiful. So that's so fun, Karen, that you do that. And I love the coffee dyeing of the index cards. I'm going to look up the difference between coffee and tea dyeing. That sounds really, really beautiful. I used to love like burning the edges of paper when I was little to make them kind of look antique-y. I love all this stuff. Well, listen, friends, thank you so, so much. Sending you once again lots and lots of love. Please take care of yourself, and I'll look forward to seeing you or being with you in the comments, or maybe being with you on a Zoom call sometime soon. Okay. Lots of love. Let's see. I don't know how to end this, so let's see. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yep. Okay. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.